What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Daniel Cormier makes shocking claim about Umar Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov is widely considered to be one of the most dominant fighters we've ever seen compete inside the octagon. With his signature style, Nurmagomedov was able to use his grappling to dictate where many of his fights took place. Once Nurmagomedov retired and Islam Makhachev emerged as the lightweight champion, Daniel Cormier made waves by saying that Makhachev is more dangerous than Nurmagomedov given his striking abilities. Now, leading up to Umar Nurmagomedov's fight with Corey Sandhagen this weekend, Cormier believes that Umar Nurmagomedov's abilities are on another level compared to Khabib and Islam Makhachev. During a recent episode of he and Chael Sonnen's Good Guy Bad Guy, Cormier weighed in.
I felt like Islam was the next version of Khabib. He possessed the same type of wrestling skill and grappling, but he was just a little bit cleaner, better striker. I think Umar is the next level of that, right? Where he possesses the striking, he possesses the wrestling, but he's also got great grappling, and his striking, he can do more. Whereas Islam's not spinning. Islam's not doing those kind of weird, diverse kicks. Umar can, right? So these Russian guys just keep jumping level.
Ahead of this weekend's fight, Sean O'Malley's coach, Tim Welsh, spoke on his Red Hawk recap show to discuss the possibility of a fight between O'Malley and Umar Nurmagomedov.
Umar, think about it, a Nurmagomedov 18-0 versus Sean, that's probably going to sell.
Anything with Sean's going to sell, man.
But like say Corey or Umar, which one's going to be a bigger fight?
I don't know. I mean,
probably Umar.
Ahead of his #1 contender fight this weekend, Nurmagomedov shared his thoughts on the UFC 306 headliner, saying that he hopes O'Malley wins. However, as he explained to media members this week, he believes that he matches up well with both fighters. As he explained,
"For me, it doesn't matter. I can fight with both. With Mirab, I think he will try to take me down, but I will strike him with him. In striking, he's not good. Sean, I will do whatever I want."
The stakes at an all-time high. After this weekend's main event, we'll have our next bantamweight #1 contender. Next up, let's take a look at Belal Muhammad goes off on MMA media. Leading up to UFC 304, many members of the MMA community were counting Belal Muhammad out of his title fight against Leon Edwards. In the wake of his win, Muhammad quickly pulled the receipts this week on a recent episode of the Anik and Florian podcast.
Told you so, right? To all the people out there that will sit there and all these like so-called experts, even these fighters, you have Demetrius Johnson thinking that he's this great analyst. He sucks. Usman sucks at analyzing stuff. All these guys, they don't know what they're talking about. When you get into the cage with me, it's different. When you get into the cage with me, you think it's slow. Then you get punched in the face and you realize it's fast. You get into the cage with me, you think, oh man, he doesn't hit hard. Then you get hit in the mouth and then you back down.
Yeah.
If Leon Edwards wasn't getting hurt, he would have stepped forward the whole time. He would have planted his feet. But he was getting punched in the mouth. He was getting hurt. And he was backing up to the cage like a coward, and he was breaking. And he was folding.
Kamaru Usman was quick to respond, writing, "Respectfully, it is slowly and kinda weak. Just saying." Demetrius Johnson also weighed in, writing, "Ha, I love it. I stick to my guns. I thought Leon was going to piece him up." According to Muhammad, after his win in Manchester, he's hoping to return to the octagon in November or December. While some wondered whether he could potentially fight in October at UFC 308, the champion said that he won't be ready to compete in time. However, when he does return to action later this year, he wants to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. Next, let's take a look at Michael Page wants Ian Garry rematch. Despite losing a lopsided decision to Ian Garry at UFC 303, Michael Page is confident that the pair will cross paths again in the future, and he will successfully avenge his loss. While speaking in a video for his YouTube channel, MVP reflected on his loss in a 15-minute video where he also dismissed Garry's chances of competing against the best of the best at 170 pounds.
And even watching it back, I don't see him. It can happen. I just don't see him going all the way and beating some of those guys based on, what I experienced. But at the same time, I'm sure we'll collide again. Every single time, bar one person, shall I say, that I've lost, I've got it back. And the only reason I didn't get the other guy back is because I left and I'm now here at the UFC. But I'm gonna get this one back. You're gonna see.
While there's been no word on when Garry will be back in the octagon, Leon Edwards' coach wants to see the two throw down, given that a potential fight would pit two of the UK's welterweight contenders against one another. In addition, the pair have some history with one another after Edwards' team told Garry he could no longer train at their gym due to his nomadic approach to training. Next, let's take a look at Tony Ferguson reveals plans after next fight. Back in June, Dana White stated that he hopes Tony Ferguson will retire after his upcoming fight with Michael Chiesa, regardless of whether or not he emerges victorious. Despite that, Ferguson believes that he's found his new home at 170 pounds and believes that his fight on Saturday won't be his last. While speaking with media members on Thursday, Ferguson spoke about his future, shutting down talk of a move to BKFC while also firing back at Dana White's retirement talk.
We want Dana to do a lot of last for him too, so I mean we can't discredit that one either. I don't feel like this is gonna be my last fight. I have to do some extraordinary is what I'm planning to do. I love the UFC and this is where I'm gonna stay. So I have to earn that right. So I mean I do have 7 losses. I mean who gets an 8th chance when it goes into this except for me? I don't ever ask for a lot of so I'm asking myself to go out there and do the best performance I possibly can so that way I can retain my spot. I do want to be here. I don't want to go fight for another organization. Where the I'm going to go BKFC and have Conor work for me again?
With a loss, Ferguson will surpass BJ Penn for the most consecutive losses in UFC history, putting the UFC in a difficult spot regarding his future if El Cucuy wants to keep fighting. Next, let's take a look at UFC Fight Updates. Ahead of this weekend's Sandhagen vs. Nurmagomedov card in Abu Dhabi, let's take a look at today's UFC Fight Updates, starting with 2 new additions to the UFC 307 card in Salt Lake City on October 5th. According to reports, the card will now play host to a bout between Jose Aldo and Mario Bautista, as well as a bout between Kayla Harrison and Ketlin Vieira. In the case of the Aldo-Bautista fight, the bout will see Jose Aldo look to pick up his 2nd straight win after returning to the octagon at UFC 301. On the flip side, Bautista will be looking to build on a 6-fight winning streak inside the octagon that most recently saw him defeat Ricky Simone in January. When it comes to the Harrison-Vieira fight, the bout will see the former Olympian look to pick up her 2nd straight win inside the octagon after making a successful UFC debut against Holly Holm at UFC 300. On the flip side, Vieira will be looking to return to the octagon after a year-long layoff following a victory over Pani Kianzad last summer. In addition, 4 new fights have been added to UFC Vegas 98 on October 12th. First up, we have a flyweight bout between Brandon Royval and Tatsuro Taira, which will see Royval look to build on a win over Brandon Moreno. While on the flip side, Taira will be looking to extend his unbeaten professional record after a win over Alex Perez in June. The card will also play host to a middleweight fight between Brad Tavares and Jun Young Park, where Tavares will look to bounce back from a February loss to Gregory Rodriguez, and Park will look to bounce back after a December loss to Andre Muniz. The card will also see Corey McKenna compete against Polyana Viana, with McKenna looking to bounce back after a March loss. And on the other side, Viana will be looking to snap a 2-fight losing streak. Last but certainly not least, in the way of UFC fight updates, Abdul Razak Al Hassan will compete against Josh Fremd in a middleweight bout that will see Al Hassan look to bounce back after a no contest due to accidental blows to the back of the head last month. While on the flip side, Fremd will be looking to snap a 2-fight skid. Next up, let's take a look at Fighter reveals sad news after UFC 304. Prior to UFC 304, one of the biggest talking points surrounding the card was the start time in the UK. While the card started at a normal time for US fans, it took place overnight for local fans, much to the frustration of fighters like Tom Aspinall. Following his win over Giga Chikadze, Arnold Allen revealed this week in a video for his YouTube channel that he fell asleep while driving home after his last sparring session of camp the Saturday before UFC 304.
See, I was driving home half asleep, and I literally I spammed my car out and crashed it into a barrier somewhere. And that was on the way home after my last sparring. I was so tired, and it was pretty scary. I was facing the wrong way on the motorway. Definitely not ideal the Saturday before your fight, you know, a few days out. It was fine, no one got hurt, didn't hit anyone else, damaged my car a bit. And 100% it was because I was half asleep, you know, I mean, like, stupid. I was rushing home to get back to bed, and so hopefully they never do that again.
Although Dana White revealed while speaking to media members at the post-fight press conference that he will never increase the post-fight bonus money for a card again, he didn't say anything about making sure an event will never take place overnight. Next up, let's take a look at Dana White breaks silence on Alex Pereira versus Jake Paul. After his recent win over Mike Perry, Jake Paul used his time on the mic to call out both Mike Tyson and Alex Pereira. As Michael Bisping explained in the days following the fight, Paul knew that nothing would ever come of his Alex Pereira call-out, given that Dana White and the UFC wouldn't be willing to let Pereira make the jump to boxing to compete against him. While Dana White had not shared his thoughts on the call-out, during a recent interview with TNT Sports, White weighed in, explaining that he didn't pay any attention to Paul's post-fight comments.
I stopped paying attention to Jake Paul when he lost to Fury. You know what I mean? It's like when he fought somebody that was his age and actually boxed, he lost. And I'm not on the kid. I don't even think about him anymore. It doesn't even cross my mind. I have no beef with him. I have no, they're trying to get me assassinated. Nobody's trying to get you assassinated, especially, listen.
The MMA community was quick to react to White's comments, with one fan writing, "I'm surprised he didn't randomly start glazing John Jones." Another wrote, "Poa 10 would end Jake 100%, but not worth it for Dana." As one fan explained, "That's what we're all saying. When Jake finally fought someone the same age and size who actually boxed, he lost. No need to keep watching him." One member of the MMA community called out Dana White, writing, "But this old man literally the one who said Silva gonna F Jake up. Why didn't you keep the same energy when Jake dominated Silva?" No reaction to that. So far, it's unclear whether or not Paul will in fact wind up boxing Mike Tyson next.
Dana White shuts down Alex Pereira's next fight. Alex Pereira was supposed to take on Magomed Ankalaev for his next light heavyweight fight, but it seems that he's moving up to heavyweight to fight Tom Aspinall. Ankalaev's manager, Rizvan Magomedov, revealed that Dana White and the UFC have different plans for Pereira. Here's what he had to say.
Насколько велика вероятность, что до конца 24-го он все-таки подерется с Перейрой? Может быть, это даже произойдет в Абу-Даби 22 октября?
Я думаю, мы должны ожидать этот бой где-то в начале 25-го года. Этот бой должен произойти, безусловно, потому что я с тобой соглашусь. Анкалаев, Магомед должен драться ни за что, кроме как за титул. Но, как я понимаю, у организации планы на Алекса Перейру немного другие. И поэтому, чтобы просто не застаиваться, у нас уже есть дата и есть бой. Скоро там будет анонс, где и когда будет Магомед Анкалаев выступать. И вот после этого, я думаю, мы уже, безусловно, будем драться.